Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Couple of quick shout outs as usual before I go any further. First one is to Dio, our resident security guard. He recommended a movie to me, well, kind of a movie, a short film, 4 minutes long, called 2 a.m. The Smiling Man. I watched it last night. It's a scary little piece, that one. What I love about short films, and I do watch quite a few of them, is that they get to where they're going very, very quickly. And they're usually very, very good, because if they're going to scare you, they've got to do it within a certain time, which is usually about 5 or 6 minutes. And a lot of them do that. And 2 a.m. The Smiling Man most definitely did that. It was very, very unnerving. It just concerns a guy walking home, presumably at 2 a.m. in the morning. Streets are deserted. And there's this guy following him doing this bizarre little kind of dance. He's quite a distance away. I won't tell you any more than that. It's only 4 minutes long, so I mean, if you want the bejesus scaring out of you in approximately 4 minutes, have a look at 2 a.m. The Smiling Man. I've just posted it on ChitChat, so if you want to go and have a look and let me know what you think. It did make me jump. It really did, especially at the end. So yeah, it's well worth watching. It was reminiscent of one that I watched a couple of years ago. I'm going to see if I can find it again, about a kid telling his mother that there was a monster under the bed. I can't remember what it was called, but I'm going to try and find it. That one really did unnerve me. So I'll try and find that one later and post that on. Quick word about the Oscars. Will Smith. It kind of overshadowed everything, didn't it? All the awards and all the wonderful films that were represented there, and it was all overshadowed by this one stupid little incident. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I'm a great believer in people, as you know, being able to say and do pretty much anything they want, so long as they're not hurting anybody, or that it doesn't turn personal or in a kind of a bullying fashion. I think people should be able to say and do pretty much what they want. The problem for me with it was that when he made the remark about G.I. Jane to his wife Jada, Will Smith was actually laughing at the joke until he turned and saw his wife's face, and then obviously thought, Jesus, I need to do something about this. What I think he probably should have done is probably left it till after the ceremony and confronted him then. I'm not sure it was the best idea to get up there and just slap the crap out of him in front of everybody, and then start swearing from his seat up at the stage and all this sort of thing. I mean, it made for great television and all that sort of thing, but I don't think he did himself any favours. And I read yesterday that he's actually resigned from the Academy, so you won't be seeing very much of Will Smith now. As for Chris Rock, never been a fan. Don't know why, just don't like him, for the same reason probably that I didn't used to like Eddie Murphy when he first made an appearance. I just thought he was loud and obnoxious, and Chris Rock is, to me, pretty much the same, just an irritating person. So I probably would never have sided with him anyway on this one, but it was a pretty unnecessary remark to make, considering, but there's pros and cons to these things, isn't there? Anyway, that's my opinion on it. As for the Oscars themselves, I was trying to work my way through all of the contenders for Best Picture. I'd even made a prediction that Belfast would win it, and I still would have said that just before the ceremony, but it turns out Coda won it. If you're not familiar with Coda, it stands for Children of Deaf Adults. And when you read about it, they used a lot of actual deaf actors in the roles. It's the kind of thing the Academy do like. They like that kind of thing. So if I'd have read a little bit deeper into it, I probably would have said that Coda would stand a very good chance of winning it before I'd even seen it. But I'm still going to work my way through them. And let you know what I think of them all. There's probably about another 5 or 6 to go through. I did watch Licorice Pizza, which I thought was excellent. A little bit controversial in its subject matter. It's about a relationship of sorts, not a sexual one, just a relationship between a 24-year-old woman and a 15-year-old lad. Now, yeah, it's a dodgy subject, but it's done in a very sort of kind of tasteful way. The script is brilliant. Some of the lines in it are absolutely superb. And one of the leads, the guy that plays the lad, is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, name of Cooper. And I see a fair old future ahead for him if he's anything like his dad. So yeah, Licorice Pizza, I really enjoyed it. I just question probably the subject matter's a little bit a little bit dodgy for some, but the film itself I thought was all right. Let's see, who else am I shouting out to today? Joe loves movies. Still loving the content, mate. I can't keep up with your videos. You post so many, but keep them coming. What I need to do is set aside an hour or two and just catch up with them. I could probably do an entire video just commenting on your videos or reacting to them because you've done so many. I did enjoy the one about cruising Al Pacino. Wow. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Anybody else to shout out to? Oh, you guys that are doing these top 30 movies of the decade. What have I seen and what haven't I seen? I've only done the 70s one so far, which I think I saw 26 of out of 30. I've not done the 80s, 90s or the others. I will be doing them probably later today or as soon as I can get to them, but I will definitely be doing them. But after the 80s, I don't hold out much hope for the ones after that as far as high scores go, but we'll see how we go. I will do them for sure. What else have I got here? I've got my little notes here. Let's see, we've done that. Well, reviews, I suppose we'll do a couple of reviews. First one, Iron Man. Latest in the MCU journey that I'm currently on. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark. And it's basically just the story of his transition to Iron Man via being stranded in the Afghan desert, being taken prisoner and all that sort of thing. I won't give too much away. It's quite an oldish film, so you've probably already seen it, but they seem to be getting better. I'm really enjoying them. The next one is obviously Iron Man 2, so I'll be catching up with that one soon. But Iron Man I thought was really excellent. I thought Robert Downey Jr. played it just absolutely superbly. And the special effects were, as you'd expect, top notch. So yeah, big thumbs up for Iron Man. Looking forward to the next instalment. I'm trying to get through one a week if I can. Hopefully I will catch up with them sometime during the course of this year. So what else have I got here that I need to review? Licorice Pizza. Oh, now then. It's not really retro, but it's something that really struck a chord with me. There was a drama on BBC Three. I can't remember what night it was on. It was called Life and Death in the Warehouse. Now, those of you who know me know that I've worked in warehouses, various warehouses, over the last 15, sort of 20 years. I'm currently working at one down on Centrum as a cleaner. So I thought I'll have a look at this and see what kind of an accurate representation it is of literally life in a warehouse. It was absolutely horrendous. There wasn't a single nice character in it. They were all absolutely vile human beings. Now I don't know what or which warehouse this was actually based at. I'm guessing it was supposed to be something along the lines of Amazon or one of the absolute mega large warehouses. But it was just horrible. What they'd done, I think, is they got various sort of testimonies from warehouses, not just all over the country, but all over the world. And what it looked like they'd done to me is cobbled together the blackest, most bleak scenarios you could possibly come up with, and painted this awful picture of life actually in a warehouse. In all the warehouses I've ever worked in, I've never worked in anywhere as unpleasant as that, and I wouldn't last half an hour in an atmosphere like was portrayed in this. The team leaders were just absolutely horrible. The security guard was awful. It's basically based around a small bunch of pickers, the team leaders that sort of lead them through, and all that. But I can assure you, anybody thinking of starting work in a warehouse, watch that, and it will absolutely put you off it. But I can tell you, I have never ever worked in a warehouse as bad as that. The rules were just draconian. They were terrible. But yeah, it was not what I would class as an accurate portrayal. I'm sure there are warehouses like that do exist, but these were really extreme cases. The warehouse I work at now, it pretty much made it look like a holiday camp compared to what this one was. It was really, really terrible. But if you get the chance to watch it and you want to see a representation of how a warehouse should definitely not be run, have a look at that. I believe it's on iPlayer at the moment. It's called Life and Death in the Warehouse, but it's one of those once seen, never forgotten things. So let's see, bin it or keep it for this week. Let's see. Lost in Space. I've had this for years, and I've never actually, I can't remember ever watching it. Now, as you can see behind me, with the robot on the wall there, I'm a huge fan of the original series. I absolutely love the original series. It's camp, it's funny, it's dated, the special effects are terrible, the acting is probably pretty bad. But I grew up with it. I remember going to my nan's every Thursday to pay her newspaper bill and do a bit of shopping for her, and she always gave me tea while I was sitting watching Lost in Space. I literally grew up with the series and loved it. This, oh God, it was all right as far as big screen adaptations of TV programs go, but it most definitely wasn't the best, and I'm fairly sure I wouldn't watch it again. There are a couple of cameos in there. I believe Bill Mumy, who played Will Robinson, is in there, and I believe the lady who played the mother is in there, and one of the sisters as well. But it's not one I think I'll ever be watching again. As for the new Netflix series, I've not watched it yet, but I intend having a look at that. But I still get the feeling that as good as it's going to be, I think I'm going to be sort of preferring the original series. I'm fairly certain of that. So Lost in Space, the movie, charity shop, that's definitely going in the bin. What have I bought this week? Let's see. A couple of CD box sets. Now then, I used to collect soundtracks years ago on vinyl. I've not bought many recently, apart from a couple of old Hollywood musical ones, but I saw this. It's actually quite rare, and it's this one. Where are we? Oh, turn it round. The Fantasy Worlds of Irwin Allen, which is basically the music from a lot of his TV series. It's a box set of CDs, all separate, look, and you've got music from Land of the Giants, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, The Time Tunnel, Lost in Space, and there's a bonus disc. I don't know what's on that. I don't know whether it's something that you would actually play sort of end to end and just listen to, or whether you just have it on in the background. It's sort of incidental music, that kind of thing. But I know it's quite rare, and I wanted this for quite a while, so I grabbed hold of that while it was there. And this one, do you remember when Star Wars first came out? 1977, Radio 1. Was it Radio 1? Yes, I think it was. Broadcast a serialised radio version of Star Wars. This one. I've been looking for this for years, and again saw it on eBay. Got told of it. It's still in the cellophane, but it's all 13 episodes on 7 discs. Now, if you were around in the 70s, you would remember that serial. I listened to every one and loved it. And apart from that Super 8 movie version of Star Wars, this was the only way you could actually get close to Star Wars, apart from going to the cinema to see it. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. It does actually star Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. You've got the Oscar-winning score from John Williams. I remember it being brilliant, and I can't wait to have a listen to this. As I say, I'll bust it out of the cellophane later on and maybe give that a go. Next in the MCU, Iron Man 2. So I'm going to be watching that one next week. I have no idea what it's about. It's a sequel, obviously, so that's going to be watched hopefully by next weekend, and I'll let you know what I think of that one. Another one that if you were around in the 70s and went to school in the 70s, there were a couple of books, 2 or 3 books that you studied in English on the English syllabus. I believe one was To Kill a Mockingbird, the other was Barry Hines' Kess, and there was this one, Lord of the Flies. I haven't seen this for years. They actually got the movie while we were reading the book and showed it to us in not in assembly, but in an English lesson. I believe it was projectors and screens back then. There wasn't any VHS back then, but I haven't seen it since then, and I'm really looking forward to watching this. It's basically the story of a group of boys that get cast adrift on an island and turn savage. It's based on a novel by William Golding, which, as I say, I studied at school, as everybody did. And the book itself was pretty savage. I remember this being very uncompromising at the time, so I'm looking forward to having another look at that. It's a PG certificate. Whether it would still be that if they released it now, I don't know. I get the feeling it would probably come out as a 12 or maybe even a 15. But it's a hell of a movie if you've not seen it. And the other one, this was recommended to me. I've not seen it, so I don't know. Saving Grace, Brenda Blethyn. I believe it's all to do with a lady who loses her husband after he jumps out of an aeroplane without a parachute. And she decides to grow, if I'm reading the back of this correctly, decides to start a cannabis farm. How it goes, I don't know. I intend watching this because the lady that recommended this to me said it's an absolutely brilliant movie. So I will be having a go at that. Has anybody out there seen this one? Tell me what it's like before I delve in. Saving Grace with Brenda Blethyn. Take the high road to a comedy that truly lights up. We'll see. Right, the quote for this week before I go. Let's see. Yes. Right, it's 2 lines. And if you can think of a different name to call this, by the way, I keep calling it Guess the Movie Quote, but it sounds like a party game. If you can think of a better title for this little section, something along the lines of what's the line or something like that, drop your answers in the comments, because I would love to call it something different apart from Guess the Movie Quote. So, right, this week's it's 2 lines, and here they are. He says, the sun came out last night. He said it sang to him. And that's it. He says the sun came out last night. He says it sang to him. Drop your answers in the comments or do your memes, because you know I love me memes. I think that's it, folks, for this week. I'll be back next week. What I'm going to do next week, if I can find the time and sort them out, is a top 10 list of movies that were adapted from TV series. It was watching the Lost in Space one that started me off on this. So I'm going to try and pick out my top 10 movies that were adapted from successful TV series. So I'll perhaps do that one next week. So I'll have a stack of DVDs about this big and Blu-rays to illustrate the point. So, right, enjoy the weekend, folks. It's a little bit cold out there. It was also, it's bloody freezing, but hopefully we'll be warming up a little bit more, getting close to Easter. So take care, folks. Have a brilliant week, and I will talk to you all again next weekend. Take care, folks. Bye bye.